All right, it's 6 o'clock, and this is the Festival Grounds Committee meeting. We are in City Hall Council Chambers. It is May 9th, 2024. Next item on the agenda is consider approving the minutes from the meeting of March 7th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the March 7th meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the March 7th meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have general items for the agenda, and that is fair update.
Okay. Let me see.
Please talk into the mic, Brad.
There we go. Okay, I think we have everything all set. We've got a Nashville Known Act coming in on Thursday. We signed a lumberjack show on Friday. Then we, of course, have the Ron Nicholas tractor pulls on Saturday. Demo derbies are going back on Sunday. As far as I know, everything seems to be going fairly well. We got the Pepsi stuff taken care of, which we're going to keep as status quo. Prices did go up on Pepsi, just so everybody realizes it. I think over 5%, but we're leaving it what it was. But now we have to go in and talk to the beer vendors. So we'll get that taken care of, and we should be good. Otherwise, moving stuff around, we're going to be kind of, running it kind of close on Sunday. So I'll be there Saturday night through Sunday getting stuff moved. So other than that, we should be all right.
Okay.
The lumberjack act or show that you have, can we do any work on Friday as far as getting the track ready for Saturday?
I think we should be able to put it right in where the demo derby is. So the track should be able to be worked.
Stripped and
Yeah.
brought forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're trying to make it so it's as simple as possible. There's going to be 10,000 gallons of water. We will have a hose to pump it out so it's out of the area. I don't know where we're going to pump it yet, probably in that storm sewer that's right off the entryway, the main entryway coming in. There's that water grate there. Maybe we'll try and do it there just to get it out so we don't have any flooding. Otherwise, we should be pretty good. It's going to be an hour-and-a-half show. Then they do like a half hour to an hour's worth of stuff with kids. And that's all.
Yeah, just worried about getting water on the track where it's a swamp, so.
Yeah, so we were worried about that too, but they have the ability to pump it out.
Okay.
And they've got 500 feet of hose, and we could add on to that with our fire hose as well if
Okay.
need be.
Okay. Anything else for Brad? George, rodeo update?
Doing good. We got a couple work days coming up. One tomorrow to pick rock in the arena, and one on 22nd or 23rd. And that's an outside group coming in that needed some volunteer hours. Contracts are out and in. The print ads are out. The TV station ads should be starting up here shortly. We're getting ready. It's crunch time.
Yep, it is. Yeah. Any questions for George? Permanent vendor update. Becky, got anything?
Nope. We don't meet until like the month before the fair.
Okay. Sounds good. Food Truckapalooza update. Hallie?
I gave you guys all a paper. We have 17 food trucks, 19 teams for the cornhole, 70 vendors for the craft and vendor show, which is way more than I was expecting. Sawmill's taking care of beverages. We have the entertainment set up. We're charging $1 for the wristbands like you guys do for the fair for beverages, and then $5 for unlimited bounce houses. And that's from 1 to 4. Signs are bought and put around town. I'm organizing a layout for the food trucks now because people have been asking for one. So I'm trying to figure that out. Garbages are taken care of. We have an ATM on site. Brad's awesome in helping with picnic tables.
Just have to know where to put them.
The tents will be out on Thursday. So
Oh, this is, okay.
next Thursday. I can send you the layout of what we're doing too.
Okay.
And the weather looks like it's going to be sunny and 70, so. I know. It's what it said. I'm going with that right now.
It'll change. It was gonna be
71.
sunny and 70 last week too, and Saturday it rained.
No, it's not going to rain. Does anybody have any questions?
Where are 70 vendors going?
Up and down the Midway.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So
I thought they were going to maybe all go in the
Expo Center.
Expo Center.
No, they don't fit that many, but we wanted to keep everything down towards the grandstand area,
Gotcha.
so.
All right.
I just want to recognize Hallie. She's put a lot of time and effort and work into this, and I'm hoping that it becomes an annual event, but she has done a great job.
Thank you.
And the food truck's gonna go back against the fence then?
They're gonna go right underneath the grandstands, or right next to the grandstands, and then kind of L-shaped towards the cemetery.
Will there be power for them, or are they gonna provide their own?
They have power, access to power. If their cords aren't long enough, then they'll have to use their generators, but I'm hoping most of them will be long enough, but they're saying like 50 feet is what they have for cords, so we might have to check that out.
That's a lot of power. I hope there's a lot of power there.
There is
Trucks.
plenty underneath
Is there?
the grandstand, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's both 30 and 50 amp underneath there, depending on what they need and how it'll get separated. And some of these trucks, I think, are somewhat self-sufficient as far as power, if they're,
If the generators aren't running. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I can only control
It's
so
the first
much.
time. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And the health department has alerted us that they will be down there inspecting all the trucks, and fire department has alerted us that they will possibly be down too. So making sure that everything is in the proper spots, enough distance for LP and things like that, so.
Don't these trucks go through a pre-inspection?
I would imagine, but they've never been in some of them never been in Lincoln County, so Lincoln County Health Department wants to.
But if they're licensed by the state,
Yeah,
They still have,
we just got alerted the other day that they're coming.
they come to the fair almost every year as well, so.
Yeah.
they do it at the fair every year.
they're
That's
permanent buildings, and it's a 4-day event. I think there's exemptions for 1-day events.
That's what
So
thought.
are the vendors going to be stuck with a fee? I mean, there's always a fee when they show up. The health department
No.
shows up.
No.
Okay.
They do it at the fair,
Okay.
but that's a 5-day event.
Okay.
Okay, anything else on the food truck event? Moving on to calendar of events. If I can get it to load. Anybody have any questions on the calendar of events? Hearing none, we'll move on to discuss and consider camping options for August 15th, 16th, and 17th. Powerhouse has a pause for a cause steak cook-off competition and is interested in renting all 20 sites. We have power there. I think water's down there for these. I looked at Tomahawk, they charge, I think it's $30 or $35 per night per site up there. In my mind, I don't know if we have to charge that, but I would think $20 a night per site would be my recommendation. And I think that's pretty reasonable for power and water.
Are we going to allow burning there? Are they going to have fire pits?
There's no fire pits.
We don't have any fire pits on scene yet,
Okay.
We had talked about providing rings
eventually.
eventually.
So if they bring a fire pit with a portable fire pit, they can use it?
That's for discussion, I guess.
There's ash disposal, like Lambeau Field has those culverts, but
We can use sections of manholes with the lid on it to do the same thing, so.
There's something down there right now, ain't there? Because I think there's right up against the fence like a garbage can or some sort of metal can that was used for the fair and the rodeo,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
I guess originally it was talked that we were going to do something for fire
Right.
pits,
yeah,
so we'll provide ash disposal.
yeah, if you,
Yep.
if there's fire pits, then
Yep.
it needs a disposal place.
Right.
We need to come up with the
Would hate to
red,
do it without knowing, well, I suppose you can move them. I mean, I didn't.
we need to come up with a registration system. I think we're,
I've got Dustin working on that.
Yeah.
The IT Dustin, and
Right.
I had him look at what Tomahawk uses for the registration up there, but there is a program that we can maybe piggyback off of what our park and rec rental system too, he found, so that'd make it easier for us just to have it all in one system.
True.
So the lady from Tomahawk never called me. I emailed her, I called her, everything. She never got back to me, so I just kind of,
That's funny. At one, back a year ago, she was responsive, and she maybe not.
right. So I just took it on myself. I looked at Tomahawk's website and gave that website to Dustin, and then he came up with this other one. So he is looking into it though, so.
They said that they would do an electronic, so if they have an overflow, they would send people to us.
Right.
And that's maybe all we need from them.
But getting back to this for the powerhouse, pause for a cause steak cook-off.
I'll make a motion to rent all 20 spots to the Powerhouse for $20 a night for those dates.
I'll second.
if they need more than 20 spots and they don't need power or water, are we going to allow them to possibly stack someplace?
We still have those spots on the east side of the,
We do have some over where the old animal shelter was there.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
I don't see any issue with that. They're not using our utilities, well, they're using our water and that, but
Are we gonna have our bathrooms open?
If we're renting spots, we should, yeah.
Yeah, we should.
And as far as, we had talked about additional 4 showers, that's going to be something that's probably going to be late summer, early fall that we'll be working on. And not making excuses, but our maintenance manager moved on and we're short a guy right now, and we were going to do some of that stuff in-house, so
Sure.
it's going to get put off a little bit here.
Are there showers out there now?
There's showers in the bathroom behind St. Francis there.
Okay,
next to the cell building.
okay. Didn't know.
Basically,
No, I know.
4-H use them during the fair.
Yeah, it's only
So
two.
there's only like 1 or
One
2
on each side.
stalls or something like that.
What is it?
They're
2 on each?
pretty low end and simple. Okay.
So we're gonna have dumpsters out there for these campers also then?
Yes.
Dumpsters, food
Well-
pit, fire pits,
We'll have our
no fire
cans,
pits,
our cans
2
out there.
showers. Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to rent all 20 spots to Powerhouse for August 15th, 16th, and 17th, and also allow overflow to the east end of where the old animal shelter was. Any further discussion?
That's a week after the fair, Brad. Do you see any issue with being out of there?
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is discuss and consider the lease of the Merrill Festival grounds between the City of Merrill and the Lincoln County Fair Association. There was a little bit of a write-up in here for the fair lease.
Basically what we're doing is we're requesting, we matched up what the lease is for the rodeo and the lease is for the fair. The difference in the two comes at number 6, under the non-exclusive use. We're looking at just removing a portion of it to keep it in line with what the rodeo has done as well, giving us some abilities on the grounds if need be. Am I looking forward to something like that? No, but it puts us in line with the rodeo, plain and simple.
So that highlighted yellow area, you're taking that out?
Correct. That's what we'd like to have taken out. That was inserted by past administration and stuff when we first came up with these leases.
So you're asking for permission to shut down one of these stands?
If need be, because right now, as it stands, if we have an issue, and it's not going to happen unless there's just cause.
Then why are we bringing it up?
Because it's the same line as the rodeo. We are trying to act for basically equal care under both parts. The thing is, if something does happen, we have no control over it. We can say, well, we'll go to the city council, but then it's after the fact, and it's really pointless at that point. We don't foresee any issues, but again, we are looking to be on the same level playing field as the rodeo is. Again, we're not foreseeing any issue, but we would like to have that ability if it comes up, And again, I don't see that issue coming up, but we would still like to be able to have that issue or ability, because right now we have no ability to do anything.
So when this group started, Dave Johnson, Bill Bielecki, and that were very, very adamant that nothing would happen to the permanent stands during the fair. The fair was their bread and butter. That's why they were there. That's why they were built. For you to come to this group and say, hey, we may during the course of the fair, we just want permission to possibly go down and shut them down on Thursday because we don't like the color of their shoes. That also gives us no recourse until the council meets again to open back up.
Okay, but you're also bringing up a very petty thing. We're talking just cause. If there's some violations of the stuff that's happening on the grounds, we should be able to do that.
All we've seen in the past is personality conflicts that have caused issues down there. You're saying just cause. Just cause to you on Friday at 4 o'clock may be a lot different to the council on following, when they meet again to reopen it. This is giving the Fair Board a great amount of levity.
What does it give the rodeo?
The rodeo negotiated this from the beginning.
The rodeo doesn't have the vendor stands open.
Exactly. They can have them open if the vendors want to have them open.
Right, but they don't.
It's up to the
vendor stands
rodeo.
are only open during the fair.
Brad, I think your statement was incorrect, because if the rodeo would allow them to be open, they could, but they control the grounds for that.
And to be honest, the reason why the rodeo does not have us open is because we ghosted them how many years in a row saying we're all going to open, and we never got enough volunteers to open. Correct. So they said piss on it, and they got their own food, and we leave us alone. That's all it is. I'll make a motion to table.
But the mayor also mentioned that the rodeo runs the grounds at that time. The fair runs the grounds during the fair.
We got a motion to table at this point. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to table. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a discussion to consider a request from Jeremy Lee regarding using a building on the festival grounds for a nonprofit organization to build bunk beds for less fortunate children. Is that you? Please come up to the podium.
You gotta go.
I apologize.
Not the way.
I apologize. I didn't make enough copies of the paperwork for here, but I got a few copies I can send around.
I can make copies quick.
Otherwise, I understand what this is. It's
When is it going to be?
We can share.
You're fine. I want to be real quick with this. To be honest, we were planning a bed build on June 29th. I've never done one in this area. I've never even headed up, so there's a lot of things that I can't tell you. I'll try to answer any questions, but I'll tell you a little bit about the organization. Sleep in Heavenly Peace, or SHIP as we call it, has been going for years and years. I've taken youth kids. I work with the youth kids in the Circuit 6 churches in the area. And we've been going over to the Spencer area and doing bed builds. Well, last spring when we went over to do one, she says, I'm getting a lot of requests for beds in the Merrill area. and we can't take them that far because they only allow us to go 50 miles from where the bed build is. So she says, would you consider sponsoring one? And at that point, I said no. I said, this sounds like way too much. I don't have that kind of time to give. She asked me again in fall when we went, and I said, I'll see what we can do. Well, that left the door open, and she jabbed me a little bit more. But it's 100% volunteers, nonprofit. What we typically do is we have volunteers come in around 9 o'clock in the morning. By 1 o'clock, we are done. Our goal is to build 32 beds this time. To be honest, I didn't think there was a need in this area for this until she kept bugging me about it. I guess I was a little naive. But she says there is a lot of requests for beds in this area, and they'd like to do one here to get some beds. Their goal is to not have kids ever sleep on the floor. Have a bed. Everything, right down to the bedding. We build a bunk bed. They get donations for the bedding, everything. They actually go into the houses and set them up 90% of the time, unless the family doesn't want it. Our part, what we do that day is we put these beds together. We saw the lumber, stain, sand. They actually dip them into DEF tanks for the staining, etc. We need somewhere to do this. I had talked to Dan Wendorf a little bit about it at first, thinking that maybe we'd use a park or something. And as we talked, I thought about I've been down at the fairgrounds with the food stands and stuff. I was thinking that under the grandstand would be ideal. Typically, we do everything outside if we can. But we got to have a backup plan in case it rains. What was that, Brad?
You said 29th?
29th of June.
You can use the cell building for that then.
Whatever works, I guess, for you guys. The biggest thing is if we can have some bathrooms open is huge on our part. So that, because we get a lot of out-of-town people coming in to help with this. You know, if we can do it outside, we'll do it outside. It's a lot easier. I can take some leaf blowers and blow up the sawdust that's done, and we'll clean everything up. I'll make sure everything is cleaned up after we're done, etc.
I guess my concern is the insurance. Is there going to be a liability? Tom, do you have?
We're insured, and I'm not trying to get into your business. Do you have any insurance?
I have no idea how that part of this works. They must have, because they do these. They've been doing them for years. I assume they do, but I can't tell you.
My guess is you do if one of your volunteers is injured through negligence of another person, and you got power tools and all this.
When I take the kids to it, we have the parents sign a waiver, etc. and stuff, and they do all this legal stuff. That's not my part, so I can't tell you.
No, I understand. I would hope the committee would insist that there's something there.
If you ask the organizer, if you ask the organizer for what their umbrella policy is,
I can definitely do that.
And then you can start from there and get that information to the city. Because if they have a policy, there would be zero cost to them for adding a date of liability usage. But it's important to the city that there's a coverage.
Brad, is the cell building wide open? I mean, there's nothing in there that.
Nope, that's why I offered it. It's going to be open then. So.
Can you have your church be the organizer? I would think they would cover that under their volunteers.
As a youth group, when I take kids, we are covered under our church policy, but there are a lot of volunteers that aren't affiliated with the churches that come to these events. So I'm sure they have something. To be honest, I never even thought about that. Thank you.
When I've done stuff for Special Olympics, we're always covered under Special Olympics. Just have to have the copy of the policy to.
There's always a master policy.
Yeah, I guess there's something.
I just have to say, I'm always in favor of anything for the kids, seniors, and those in need. My only concern would be, you mentioned children helping. Children and power tools kind of scare me.
We'll back that up.
Okay.
The kids, the most that we have the kids run is screw guns and sanders. They don't run any of the power tools.
Okay.
We have the adults run the miter boxes, etc., the stuff that we need that way. We don't. Yes, I get what you're saying, and I should have said that. I apologize.
No.
We don't allow them to run anything but the sanders and screw guns. And
We're
then
talking teenagers.
Everybody works their teams, yes, and
Yeah.
they work as teams, so there's adults with
No,
every
teens,
group.
teens.
Teens, yes,
Yeah.
definitely teens. I mean,
Yeah.
but we get all ages, to be honest. We get some
Yeah.
younger ones that give a piece of sandpaper too so they can participate.
Absolutely.
They're obviously not running the Sanders, but yeah.
I got you. Yeah, they're in charge of the
Yeah.
chops.
Yeah, off with them fingers.
Okay.
At this point, I'll make a motion to allow the use of the cell building as long as we have this umbrella policy in place. Get that to the,
Acceptable to
acceptable to the,
city attorney's
to
office.
the city attorney's office. right?
And sir, when you get that, what I will do, and I don't doubt you one minute, but I will run that by our insurer, just to make sure, but yeah.
Well,
Cell building anyways.
working
I'll second.
construction, I know how fussy insurance can be, so yes, I get it.
Thank you.
I don't think you need a motion if it's not a, it's a fairground or fair board building, so I don't think you guys will need to worry about that part. We would have to have it for covering our, but the insurance would be great, but as far as using the cell building, I don't think you need a motion for it.
That's all.
You'd just be named as an additional insured by that policy.
Still going to be on the grounds. I mean, something could happen.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
Something could happen,
For the use of
parking
the
or
building.
whatever.
Yeah.
So it's,
It'd be nice to have a motion.
If the sun is shining that day, if I can interrupt, are you going to go underneath the grandstand first?
I guess that's up to you guys, what you would like, or we can just go outside in the parking lot if it's not 90 degrees.
I mean, up by the grandstand, they'd have the power.
yeah, you got plenty of power up there.
They do have their own generators if need be. I mean, power is not a necessity. They like to have it. We hate to listen to hum of generators, but they do have, they had donations from Home Depot and stuff for all these power tools and for generators and stuff, so they have that stuff.
And the cell building is also fully powered with more than enough power.
You want to say space on the grounds?
Yeah, I'll amend my motion to say the grounds, I guess, space at the grounds.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second to allow the,
Soon to be named.
you're right, kids bed making, I'm sorry. Ship. Yep, to use the grounds, the fairgrounds, the festival grounds. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Next, we'll move on to monthly reports. We have Festival Grounds Manager Bjorklund. His re-
I wanted to reiterate the attaboys or attagirls to Hallie for being the first step off, having the city owning an event and producing its own event. This is, we couldn't have asked for someone more capable. And I just think you've done a marvelous job. We've had a number of Amish groups now that have been renting. So as word spreads amongst the various groups, just like the quinceañeros in the Hispanic community, the religious services and weddings now have been spread, the words has been spreading about using the expo and the grounds. And all told, they're generally problem-free. We did have a minor accident recently from one of the Amish weddings, that would be the last group I would expect to have any damage, but it was just one of the carts got loose got away from a couple of folks who were doing this table and chair setup, so it nailed the wall. So we'll just have to figure out how to fix it, and then what we want to do with the deposit. The Trinity PTA also did their auction and raffle. They did a great job. They're very organized and very, very professional. They actually had Arnie Lang do their auction for them. They raised a lot of money. They were very successful. At a certain and every year, at a certain time in the year, as the building transitions out of out of cold to warmer, the hydronic floor retains heat. It's always done that. The beauty of the hydronic heat is that it's so efficient over the winter time. It really keeps the building beautifully in beautiful temperature. There's a couple months period where we're transitioning and ourselves are going from cold to hot and then back to cold a little bit and back to hot a little bit. So we get challenged with the AC, whether it's AC or the temperature control inside the building. Rod did a great, I thought it was a perfect solution. He made the key to the AC unit available to the group. They then were able to, we all control thermostats in our own houses, so they were able to control their own heating and cooling with the thermostat without running us back and forth with it, and it was a great solution.
The only reason I did that was it was a city employee that I could trust. If it was outside a regular renter, I don't think that we'd do that, because then we're going to be jumping all over the place. But
well,
I understand what you're saying.
We pretty well trust all of our renters. I mean, we rarely have bad guys renting or bad people. So I just thought it was an outstanding change or shift in how we treat our renters, and I thought it was a no-brainer.
Why is the key to climate control an issue in the first place?
When you put a bunch of people in there, it heats up real fast.
I know, I'm there all the time.
Yeah.
And we can't get the heat turned on. I mean, we can't get the air turned on because nobody has a key.
We've had issues in the past where people either are turning it up, turning it down, and then we try to regulate it the best we can, and we can do it from our phone if we get a call too. But it's one of those things where we try to plan ahead.
Okay.
I'd rather have it a little cool than too warm.
I agree.
Yeah, in that case especially, yes. But I didn't think that we had exceptions for where they're employed. That was not part of policy.
Correct. And we did turn the in-floor heat off because we got the makeup air units where it's easier to bring it up or take it down. So we did turn the in-floor heat off. So
I thought it was a change in policy, and I thought it was a good one. I didn't think there was an issue with it. I thought it's a fairly simple thing with a thermostat on the back wall, and they're very easy to control. Right now, they can't call me because I can't turn it on and off.
Okay. Hearing
You don't have a key for it?
No.
Hearing nothing further, we'll make entertain a motion to place the monthly reports on file.
were you done, Rick?
Sure.
With your report?
I thought he
Yeah,
was.
the
He
rest
stopped talking.
is in here. And anything I can answer for you guys, I sure will. Just give a shout.
I'll make a motion to place the monthly reports on file.
I second.
Got a motion and a second to place the monthly report on file. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have public comment. Public comment. Hearing none, we'll set the date and time of next meeting as Thursday, June 6th at 6 p.m. That work for everyone?
No.
No? That's rodeo week.
What if we moved it down
won't
the
be here.
rodeo? What if we moved it down to the rodeo?
Huh?
What if we moved it down the rodeo? Will it feed us?
We have our meeting night that night.
All right. You want to move it to Gus?
I'm open. Till you get to July, I'm open. Week after the rodeo.
You want it the week after?
That'd work for me.
So, June 13th.
That'd be fine.
Got that, Lori? June 13th?
Yeah. I don't have the meeting schedule in front of me, but marketing has got to be in there somewhere.
Marketing would be June 20th right
Oh,
now
okay.
is the regular date.
Okay. Then we're okay.
June 13th, then.
Okay.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We had a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.